Oh boy, another live service game with a paid battle pass that is free to play with purchasable cosmetics and the promise of a multi-year plan to keep content coming and to be live for years to come. Well, you know what that means. It's time for another direct gaming guide. We got a lot to cover. How does the battle pass stack up against the competition? How are the prices for cosmetics and other in-game monetization? What are some good settings to adjust, especially for my PC players? What are some of the best weapons, gadgets, and other items you should prioritize purchasing when you're starting out? As you might know, when you start late in a lot of different games, you have to catch up to the rest of the pack. So what are the best ones you need to pick right away? What are some other helpful tips with playing different game modes and variations of said game modes? How do you use the environment to your advantage, like blowing up walls, buildings, and so on? What are some of the best game modes for leveling up and getting the in-game currency? And of course, my personal favorite, how to pay TFO. Now get out there, blueberries, make me proud. There is a lot to go through, so let's not waste any more time. I'm Talon with Direct Gaming. If you're enjoying the finals, then leave us a comment down below on your best tip. And if you really enjoyed the video, then a like and a sub would be greatly appreciated. All right, let's get started. Okay, we know the list above was long, but a good amount of those can actually be combined together. Let's start with the biggest one that everyone is probably asking, the Battle Pass. How is the Battle Pass in this game? How are the prices for cosmetics? And of course, the in-game currency and how much can you actually earn? By the way, for those of you wanting a best XP farm and how to earn in-game currency as fast as possible, check the timeline down below. We'll have a section dedicated right there for you. Anyway, for everyone else, let's continue on. Now, I gotta say, as someone who pretty much hates battle passes in like 99% of my games, I will say this one's actually pretty good. As of right now. If anything changes or turns out to be pretty shady, I'll update you in the pinned comment down below. Now, there are two forms of currencies in this game, VRs and multi-bucks. VRs are the in-game currency that you earn from simply playing the game. Like I say beforehand, we'll go into ways on how to farm that in a bit. Now, for this particular currency, you can hold 3,000 at a time. And most items will cost you between 800 to 1,000 VRs. Each class has different things that you can buy for them. For example, the light class has the grapple hook, while medium and heavy have things like the goo gun or flamethrower. The only way to get this particular currency is to simply play the game, so play to your heart's content. The other currency is multi-bucks. This is the real money currency. You use real money to buy these. Then you use the multi-bucks to purchase either the battle pass and or cosmetics. Now, for the battle pass itself, there are 96 levels to the battle pass. Not sure why there's not 100, but continuing on. And you can actually earn multi-bucks as you level up the battle pass. You can actually earn some multi-bucks on the free battle pass, but it's not much. So you're gonna earn most of them from the paid battle pass. As for cosmetics, everything is pretty much blocked behind the multi-bucks, aka real money. Now, there are some basic cosmetics that are locked behind simply leveling up. There are two level up systems within the finals. One is a very basic level up system, which thank God it's actually in this game. I feel like now most games just simply have the battle pass and that's it. What about just leveling up and actually getting some stuff? So thank you, old dice. Thank you so much for doing this. Then of course you have the battle pass, which unlocks a ton of stuff, assuming that you've paid for it. If you go with the free routes, it's every 3 to 4 levels, then you get something. So if you don't care about cosmetics, then it doesn't matter. But if you are someone who does, then you know what you have to do. Now, if you're somebody who likes to buy battle passes, especially if you are really into this game, I've got a very big tip. This is the very first big tip right here when it comes to this game, okay? This is for both the battle pass and multi-bucks. For this first season, this one right here that we are in, do not buy the battle pass. Instead, what you want to do is buy the starter pack that you can find in the store. The reason for this is because you will get skins for each starter weapon of each class, a couple of cosmetics for your character, and exactly 1,150 multi-bucks, which can be used to buy the battle pass. Now, you might be asking yourself, how much does the starter pack cost? Well, exactly 1,150 multi-bucks. If you like the game and you want the battle pass, buy the starter pack, get the cosmetics, get refunded for the multi-bucks, and then finally use those multi-bucks to buy the battle pass. Also, if you play the game enough and level up the battle pass, you can earn enough multi-bucks to buy the next season's battle pass. There is a note here, as quoted from the picture on screen. Multi-bucks are used to buy items in the finals. You can purchase more below or earn them as rewards in the battle pass. Unused multi-bucks expire after 180 days after the date of purchase. The multi-bucks are used in the order of date they are acquired. The oldest multi-bucks will be used first. So the battle pass / season lasts about 90 days, aka 3 months, which would put season 2 at around March. I myself have earned a couple of the multi-bucks so far, like you see on screen, and they will expire as of June 13th, 2024. This gives me 3 months after season 2 starts. Now, in total, you get about 1,575 multi-bucks from the full paid battle pass. The season pass, based on this particular season right here, costs 1,150. That will leave you with 425 multi-bucks to use on cosmetics. Or if you don't earn those 425 multi-bucks until close to the end of the season, then you could wait until season 3 to use in combination with the multi-bucks you get from season 2. Regardless if you decide to buy or not, compared to many other games like Destiny 2, Overwatch, and Apex, unless things have changed there recently, this is a very good system for this particular type of game when it comes to free-to-play, online, battle passes, etc. I know most people don't like the idea of monetizing outfits and cosmetics and everything. Unfortunately, this is just where we are right now. As much as I would love to say, yeah, don't buy it and they'll finally put it back in the game the way it used to be back in the good old days, there are too many people that buy cosmetics these days. And the companies know that, and they see the money that can be made. So it's up to you if you want to buy it. I will say though, out of all the battle passes I've seen over the years, this is definitely the best one. They actually took notes from things like Fortnite and made an actual pretty good battle pass. I'm not particularly into the whole bling bling that they're going with for this game, but it does fit the premise of this game, so it makes sense. All right, let's move away from buying things and get into the actual game. Let's talk best weapons and gadgets to buy with the in-game currency. Remember, you cannot use multi-bucks to buy these. You gotta play the game. Now, there are 2 modes in the finals: Quick Cash, or Cash Out as some will call it, and Bank It. Quick Cash is a heavily team-based mode. You need to find a vault, open it to get a box, pick it up, take it back to a bank / deposit, then defend it until the timer fills up and you will get your money. The first team to 20k wins the round. Bank It is like Team Deathmatch meets Kill Confirmed meets Cash Out all in one. You simply collect coins from either killing your opponents or finding the vaults around the area. These are numbers, by the way, like you see on screen. In these vaults, you'll find coins. You need to simply take these coins over to a bank that you can find around the map that just so happen to despawn and respawn randomly. So don't worry if a bank just leaves automatically, you'll find another one. Simply deposit the coins to earn your team points. The first team to 40k is the winner. Now, there is a tournament mode and a ranked mode that uses the same rules for the most part as Quick Cash. However, there are some changes. One of those changes is the limited revives. So don't just simply respawn as fast as you can. Maybe try to wait for your teammate to revive you. That won't use one of them. However, if you see that you're in a no-win situation, or maybe that your team's about to wipe, yeah, maybe res right then and there. That can really help you out. Another change to it is the fact that there are knockout rounds when it comes to the tournament mode. Basically, there are 4 teams at one moment in time that are trying to get the most amount of money. You can actually go up to about 40k, maybe even a little bit over in terms of the money. Then, based on those 2 teams, the 2 teams that have the lower score are kicked out. The 2 with the higher score move on to the next round. After you get up to the finals, it basically becomes a normal Quick Cash style game mode. First team to 20k wins. Now, everyone is going to have their own opinions on what is best. Things can change with patches, metas change all the time, and new things are discovered as the game continues to grow. Plus, we're also assuming that more gadgets are going to be added into the game as it grows, so we'll update you obviously with a pinned comment or something in the description, or if you want to, we'll make a guide for Season 2 and other ones as we go forward, so make sure you hit that like button if you enjoy this type of content. Shameless plug out of the way, there are 3 classes we need to talk about. If you play the light class, I'm personally going to recommend the XP54 as it's a fast SMG that is great for close-up and personal combat. The V9 is also a very good pistol for up close, and it's silent. I don't know about you guys, but over on the servers here in Japan and South Korea, that thing has been deadly, and that thing can knock you out in a 1-2-3 hit combo, no problem. Combine that with something like the grapple hook, which is one of your specializations, and you can become a very terrifying presence on the battlefield. Also, if you really want to go crazy, you can also go with the throwing knives, which I have seen some players utilize very well. As for your gadgets, I recommend the thermal vision, stun gun, and also the vanishing bomb. These are more great for a more personal solo build player, which I know a lot of players definitely like to play as, so this is definitely the class for you. As for the medium class, I recommend the obvious AKM. It got a massive improvement in my personal opinion from the beta, and it's a little bit more forgiving compared to the other gun. While the SCAR is good, it only has 20 rounds in the magazine, so you need to be able to hit your target fast. If you don't, or get teamed up on, yeah, you're pretty much done for. Guardian Turret can help a lot for a specialization on the medium class, but the healing beam is obviously top tier. I mean, it literally heals your teammates. It's made for this kind of thing. Gadgets for the medium class that I personally recommend are going to be the mines. You can use pretty much any of these as they're very helpful when you can throw them onto the side of walls and everything. Just be careful though, because they do emit a decent loud noise, and if your opponent happens to have a pretty good audio system, yeah, they're going to hear things. Obviously, some other gadgets that are very helpful are the jump pads and the gas grenades, which can be especially good in something like Quick Cash. Careful, however, though, if you buy the Guardian Turret, one of the specializations. Over in the gadgets is also the APS turret, which is actually different. So if you think you bought it and you try to change over to it, guess what? It's not going to be doing what you think it's doing. Finally, some recommendations that I have for the heavy class, as I had two teammates who were both using the heavy class personally when I was playing on stream last time. By the way, check us out if you haven't already. First off, I want to talk about the Lewis gun. Lewis gun is a machine gun, and it is way better, according to my friends who have used it, than the initial starting machine gun. While the initial machine gun is not bad by any means, this one is definitely better when it comes to recoil and simply being able to take out your opponents. Also, another recommendation I have to use is the mesh shield as a specialization. This helps your teammates out a lot, especially in something like cash out. The barricade, which is unlocked already as a gadget, is very popular. You can pop down two of these around a bank, and whoo man, does it make things crazy. Other things like the dome shields and the RPGs for gadgets are a must pick as well for your heavy. I've seen tons of heavies use different items and gadgets, but all in all, 95% of them are always using these particular items and gadgets. I personally find that having one person on a medium class with a heal beam, a heavy for shielding, and finally another medium with some kind of turret really makes the difference when it comes to trying to get those banks and everything. Helps them out a lot, and whoo, man, do those matches go by fast. All right, you picked your build, you have your class, and you want to jump in. First though, I have to quickly recommend some settings to change to get the most out of the game. Some of these apply to both PC and console, while some will only be to PC. Don't worry, it's only like 2. For the most part, actually, there are the same settings regardless of what version of this game you are playing. First, I want you to head into your settings and head over to the gameplay tab. Now, this is 100% a preference, but I personally prefer to turn off use enemy team colors. Since the game modes have more than 2 teams, leaving this on uses more colors for teams. And if you're anything like me with colors, some of them are going to look very similar. There is a blue and a purple, or even a light blue and a lighter purple color sometimes when it comes to the teams. And I keep thinking, oh, you're on my team. And then they shoot me in the back. Granted, I am part colorblind, but regardless, this can definitely help you out. In short, I basically turn this off. Now, no matter what enemy I run into, it's the same color. Another setting I also like to change is the crosshair. You can go in and make it whatever color you want, but I find this helps particularly with hip firing. Another accessibility option to check is also the colorblind mode. Even if you're not colorblind, some players prefer to change the color. Also, like always, make sure you turn off motion blur. It's 2023, not the early 2000s. Get over it. On controller, you can obviously go and change out your layout, assuming it's very similar to the screen like here on PC. And of course, you can change your mouse and keyboard settings. Now, obviously, you want to make your button layout or key bindings exactly how you want them. However, I would highly advise that when it comes to picking something like pick up your objects and also how you select your weapons, make sure this is something that you're used to using all the time. For me personally, I love using the 4 button, but then it's mapped to my mouse to easily pick up objects, whether it's the containers or anything from the vaults. Also, this is a very big personal preference. I also have my scroll up on my mouse wheel for my weapon no matter what. So that way, if I accidentally scroll too much, it's not going to pass over my weapon and select something else and I die in a firefight. Final thing is under the video settings. So this is mostly towards the PC players. This will always depend on the build that you currently have, but I recommend turning on plus boost for your reflex low latency, especially if you have an NVIDIA graphics card. Resolution scaling, you obviously pick to whatever graphics card you have. And if you happen to have DLSS, I have personally found that DLLA works for me. I personally have a 3080 and an i9-10900K, so this seems to work the greatest right now. Oh, and also static on the ray tracing setting. Now, this game is not the greatest with its optimization, at least in my personal opinion, but here's hoping that some of these settings can help you, again, especially if you're on PC. All right, let's finally jump into the game itself and get some tips that I have personally found that help me out when it comes to playing this game, and also other tips I think that just the overall player base can really benefit from. Let's quickly talk about the game modes. First up is Quick Cache. I personally recommend making sure to pick gadgets that focus on team play. For example, if you're the heavy class, instead of the charge specialization, which basically makes you a human bulldozer, pick something like the shield one, for example, that can really help your teammates out, especially when you jump in to try and steal a cache out to get the win. Medium class, it is required you have at least one healing beam. End of discussion, moving on. If you're playing Bankit, you can definitely go for a more solo build, but it's still going to be good if you stick together as a team. You're going to survive longer, you can revive your teammates, and get more coins to get to the bank. Oh yeah, I need to repeat one thing I mentioned beforehand. Revive your teammates. Luckily, a good number of games that I have played, my random blueberries will revive me, no problem, and it's really good. On the other hand, though, sometimes they try to revive me, and it's out in the middle of the open where everyone can see them, and they get mowed down. And sometimes this has also resulted in a team wipe, which then extends our respawn time. How do you get past this? What's something that you can do to improve your gameplay? Well, one of the things I mentioned beforehand when it came to key bindings and changing the layout on your controller potentially is getting that pick up an item button. Yes, you can actually pick up your teammates, bring them to a safe area, and then revive them. Also, speaking of things to pick up, get used to picking up containers around the maps. There are 5 types of containers you can pick up: gas, fire/pyro, smoke, goo, and explosive. Also, here's a high skill tip that you can use right now. If you use your melee when holding a container, you can actually prime the container so that when you throw it at an enemy or a wall or the side of a building, it will explode or do the thing that it's supposed to do right away. It seems right now in the game that the containers won't detonate unless thrown a certain distance. So by doing this, you can actually make it go off earlier or even take out the walls of buildings sometimes. Another tip I found out while playing is learning that you can grab almost any ledge when falling. While playing, you've probably noticed that there's no fall damage, which definitely takes a little time to get used to. Well, if you just so happen to be on the roof of a building and you drop off by accident, or you try to run away because you're getting hit by a bunch of bullets or something, what you can actually do is drop off, and if you happen to see a window that you can grab onto, grab it. Hit that spacebar or the equivalent button on the controller, and 9 times out of 10, you can actually grab on the ledge, press it again real fast, and you can get into the building. It makes for great mind games when trying to get away from your opponents, or heck, even sometimes get into the building to find the vault or the bank. Burst firing is also another helpful tip when trying to hit your enemies from long ranges. While this game has gone with a hit scan, which basically means that wherever you shoot, the bullets are going to land, which is very different from Battlefield, which had to do a lot with bullet drop and things like that, you still need to be careful with the recoil. By the way, speaking of recoil, if you're having trouble, don't forget you can always go into the practice range. All gadgets and weapons are unlocked there, so you can practice as much as you want. Find your favorite weapons and gadgets, get used to using them, and you will dominate the battlefield. A simple but a good one is also using the ping system. It can not only mark enemies, but also objectives as well. This is very helpful for those who might not have a mic, or you happen to simply be playing solo for that particular time. One thing I find very fun as a medium main is by grabbing one of those explosive containers that we've talked about before, you know, the red ones, and aiming it at a wall or an enemy, then using my melee to simply shoot it off, and it will explode the moment it hits something. Just don't melee it twice or it's gonna blow up in your face. But this can do some great damage, destroy some walls, and heck, even bring down some buildings sometimes. It can be absolute chaos in the best possible way. Another one of my favorite things to do in game is to lay a trap next to a doorway, but also put my turret up on the ceiling, but of course out of the way, so if anyone tries to come in and they're focused on me, my turret can start aiming at them and tag team them basically, and it can do double the damage. Another fun thing I like to do in Quick Cache is to throw the vault at the objective from a good distance. Then I can try and plan my defense. This doesn't work all the time, so you got to make sure you've got decent aim, but I'm expecting to see shorts where someone just lobs it across the arena and it gets in somehow when everyone is across the map trying to actually get said vaults. Did you also know that you can destroy the zip lines to prevent your enemy from getting to the bank or vault where you are? Yeah, just toss a grenade, get a rocket launcher, heck, get an explosive barrel, and boom, they can't get to you. Of course, people got jump pads and everything, but it takes time to get out. By then, you're gone. You're a sneaky little ninja, and you are out of there. I could keep going on and on about some of these tips, but I think you get the idea. With that being said, that should be Oh, wait. Farming XP in currency. All right, for those of you who are skipping ahead right now and have just joined us, here we go. Based on the beta and playing for the first week of this game being out, I have found that Bank It is the best game mode when it comes to farming XP and the currency. Now, obviously, completing the daily challenges and the weekly challenges are the best way to level up your character, which again, does unlock some cosmetics for your character. This also helps with things like leveling up your battle pass too, especially if you buy it. Bank It, for the most part, is fast, gets you points for your kills, and of course, obviously, banking the coins. And even if you lose, you're going to get between 80 to 95 VRs. You'll get more if you win, but the fact that if you lose, or if you're on a losing streak, we've all been there. I once went 5 games in a row, losing back to back to back to back, all in 4th place. You're still getting that amount of VRs, which if you times by 4 or 5 matches, that means you're pretty close to actually being able to buy a new gadget or a new weapon or anything on your class that you particularly want. Just make sure to spend the 3K that you can only hold though before getting more items, which you probably are going to do anyway, but I just have to say it to remind you. Now, obviously, I'm not saying that quick cash or the tournament variant can't get you a ton of XP or coins or anything. It can, but generally those tend to take longer and are usually more competitive. Bank It is a more laid back mode, so this is why I personally recommend it. Again though, if you have a better farm or something else in the future does come up, let us know. We'll pin it down below in the comments. However, please try to leave some exact numbers for XP and the in-game currency. So for example, if your method gets you 100 VRs no matter what, and it's in the same amount of time as Bank It, that's an obvious plus. If you're saying, oh, you get 100 for the VRs, but it takes you twice as long to complete in this particular game mode, that's not exactly the fastest way. People want to get their stuff fast, and they want it now. Now, obviously, there are tons of more tips and tricks that will be discovered as time goes on. We can't cover everything here in this video, otherwise it would be 3 to 4 hours long if possible. So, like we stated at the beginning of the video, please leave your best tips down below in the comments. With that being said, however, though, I'm going to wrap it up here, though. This has been our full Season 1 guide for the finals. But I want to ask you one last time, how have you been enjoying the game so far? If we forgot anything, please let us know down below in the comments. And also let us know how you're liking the first season, or just, again, in general, how is the game going for you? If you're watching this months into 2024, let us know if things have changed. Also, if you really want to see a Season 2 video or more guides on the finals, a like would help this video out a ton. This also shows us that you like these kind of guide videos, which you do for many different games. If you want to, check out our most recent ones on Final Fantasy 16, the DLC bosses, and Destiny 2's latest season. With all that being said, everyone, I hope you have a great day. I've been Talon with Direct Gaming. Thank you so much for stopping by the video, and until next time, everyone, John it.